over again.
Good evening, everybody. Got to see the intro once again, where the Pundits Pundit comes up fifth, kind of like my fantasy football season. Anyway, so I'm Jacob Christner, the Pundits Pundit for the night. Welcome to Jen, my beautiful co-host, and Jay Nelson, the guy who's trying to bribe himself to being a dog sitter.
Oh, he's winning the bribe.
In all fairness, I sent Jen a Billy Joel song dedicated to her nickname, Town Girl. So I'm leading in the runnings.
No,
he is. He kind of always has been. Not trying to be rude, Jacob, but Jay, and
I can't pull off bald like him anyway. So
keep the polishing cut. We love it.
No kidding. We'll keep this for when I win another election or some election someday.
There you go.
I swear to God, I will kick your butt if you become one of those backseat limousine politicians.
Well, the only way I want to be a backseat limousine politician is if it's the right girl.
Oh,
okay.
Where's the banner? We are not responsible for what Jacob says on the. I don't care if it's half his show. We're not responsible for what he says.
I'm telling Eric on you.
No, Eric's probably laughing. Well, we have one good thing about this is we all have a good time. Well, we have a really, really good show tonight and some good topics. And it's like, let's go straight to the one right now. What do you say? NBA in Africa?
Hey, sounds good.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the, right now we have this. Oh, I like the scroll. I feel like I'm trying to find out what the cup score is right now from ESPN 2 and 95. But no, the biggest thing I was reading up on this from a guy named Omar Mohammed, who's basically from Tanzania, and I'm going to try to get him on this show as one of our first guests. And he was talking about the whole deal. And see, I remember NBA in Africa about 3-4 years ago, and this was the very last game of Hakeem Olajuwon's actually.
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem Olajuwon came on the court about 52, 53 years old. We hit 1 for 4. And one was a roll in. The one was a roll in, but he was still doing that. He was still basically doing his steps, doing everything right, just what he knows how to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, he was also 53, 54 years old, playing like 6 minutes.
With a bad back.
Yeah, absolutely. But see, the biggest thing was this was at that time they were using those names and the stars. They had Dikembe Mutombo also. Now, 3-4 years later, they're having whole tournaments. They're having whole leagues, and now the NBA is starting because of NBA Africa. They're absolutely starting to draft from Africa. These people they're getting the people's attentions now, and it's like, how long in the truth? I want to ask this for you, Jen, and then Jay. Anything you guys want to do? How long before this becomes a whole world deal? Because it all started with the Dream Team, but how long before we start seeing NBA in England, NBA, and all of Europe, everything?
Isn't there NBA Europe?
No, there would be, but I'm just talking about like tournaments, the way they're doing it in Africa, the whole continent.
Well, like this, it's like WWE.
Jay, you look frozen.
The world.
Yeah. He's trying to look up and see where the dog is. Oh boy, what do you? Hey.
Oh, okay. So we used to have it in Europe, but it fractured in 2000 amid arguments over TV rights.
Right. But it's like, how long before this comes back again, though? But what do you think, though? Let's go to you again, Jay. What do you think?
So
Wow.
World Wrestling Federation when it was run by Vincent J. McMahon. Vince J. McMahon's dad. And that back then it was a regional promotion, and then Vince K. McMahon helped make it a national entity and eventually a global entity. Now you've got NXT UK. Now you've got WWE showing in most parts of the world due to recent events. It's no longer showing in. There may be a few more countries on the planet, but outside of that, it's a global entity. So the NBA, because you mentioned the Mutombos and the Elijah ones.
Wait, honestly, sorry, Jay.
Yeah, we're having a little. The thing I look at though to bring up with the WWE, it's like this tells you how many countries they do. Andre the Giant was in 31 countries. Hulk Hogan was like 25 in his day. He was in his day. John Cena hit 37 countries. I mean, that's just somebody out of his time and stuff. And Cena would not have Cena by himself would not have the mainstream that Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant to this day do now. They're both about 95% when you name a wrestler to this day. So they need but he's still been in 37 countries. That tells you the reach of the WWE. So the thing is, all of this right now with the NBA in Africa, this is telling you why the NFL's trying to go to London. Why the NFL's trying to go to Mexico?
They're already playing. The NBA is returning to Europe with the Bulls Pistons game in Paris this year, or in 2023, and they're working with.
That's fine. Let's keep going. He'll come back.
No, he's back. That's why I paused.
Okay, I'm seemingly having net issues, so I'm going on my phone. But
hey, you look a lot better, man.
Always got a backup, right? But okay. So before I was having internet issues, the NBA is doing right because they're doing just like the NFL and my WWE comparison. They're becoming global entities. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, it is a business, and the bottom line of a business is to make money. Yeah. And they know that they can stand to pull in more of a revenue if they can get audiences from outside the United States. Yeah. Now, think about it. The number one sport in the world is soccer, right?
Yes.
It's association football. Second, it's argued you could say baseball or basketball. So it's not like the NBA would have a hard time. As a matter of fact, they'd have an easier time than the NFL because NFL, American football, I mean, it's known, in other places of the globe, but not like a baseball, an association football, basketball, you see? So yeah. I think what's one of the old phrases in business? You got to strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah.
And so in this age, when you have the LeBrons and the Currys and such, because, these are players that are becoming global names. You know what I mean? You think people in China don't know who Steph Curry is? You think people in Taiwan don't know who LeBron is? And when they become global names, it's like, hey, well, we can expand because LeBron's not going to be out there playing himself. Curry's not going to be out there playing himself. We may as well move the league around and give them some competition. So, I mean, I absolutely agree. So as far as Africa goes, absolutely, it's great. You're talking about one of the bigger continents on Earth, period. And you've had a history of players from Africa come through. I mean, like greats and potential greats. Joel Embiid's from Cameroon, Yep. How do you think that atmosphere is going to react when Joel Embiid is playing a game in Cameroon?
Yep. And something, the thing is.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, the thing about it is that we think about this global deals. Remember the whole thing, there was that whole worry about Top Gun just because they put the Taiwanese flag back on that coat and didn't worry about the people that were worried about it. But Top Gun's gone over $1 billion. Yeah. If you don't make, that's the thing though, if you don't make over $1 billion on a movie, considering how much money you spend for the marketing and everything else, you can consider a bomb. So because you gotta, as much as I cannot stand the whole idea of China, I can't stand all those. They are the money. So we get that.
So, like I was just saying a second ago, they and I don't know if you heard me or not, Jay, but they actually are taking the NBA back to Europe. The NBA and FIBA are and working out making an extension of the NBA in Europe already. So this is already happening, and it's coming because they used to have this anyway. But back in 2003, it fell apart because of arguments amid TV rights in Europe.
Okay.
So, but we were talking about the international superstars. Jacob, this will make you happy. Do you know who the first international basketball global sensation was?
What was it, Bird or something?
No.
Who was it?
It was George Mikan.
Ah.
And yeah, you know him?
Oh, yeah. Minneapolis Lakers. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh. Exactly. So I was like, I wonder who that was, because I honestly was thinking Abdul. I was thinking Bird. I was thinking like MJ.
No, Mikan was.
But Mikan was the man.
Well, see, we talked about wrestling for a second, Jay, and it's like that doesn't really surprise me, because back in the day, the big star was Vern Gagne for wrestling.
Right.
And he was huge. Just like it was mostly local, it was Minneapolis, but he got around. And it's like, here's the thing, Minneapolis, that was the Minneapolis Lakers. Minneapolis had some kind of deal for that time. They got themselves out there. But bringing this part up, I have no question why NBA is going into the continents of Africa, going all to Asia, I have no question.
Really?
Why.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you said you didn't know why.
No. I can tell you exactly. The biggest thing was you once had Bird and Magic, went to Michael, then Kobe, then you went to LeBron, and then from there, you know what I'm saying? Then you went to Bron, and everything like that, and then Bron's going to retire. Here's the thing. There's either by injuries or by whatever there isn't a huge megastar name in this level coming onto that. So you better do what WWE did and build the brand.
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. And, I know you kind of have your ill thoughts about China right now, but it would absolutely be a smart move to expand to China, because you do realize, and I'm just going to bounce this off you, you do realize that China's on pace on having the world's #1 economy by 2026, right?
See, and this is the thing. My issue with China is the human rights and the hypocrisy. People won't call them out.
Yeah.
But
here's the thing. We've already got league offices in Beijing, Shanghai, Taipei, and Hong Kong.
Taipei, yeah, no kidding.
And then, I mean, we're already there. We're already in China. We're already in Europe.
Yeah.
We took a 2-year hiatus from Europe because of global pandemic.
Yes.
So
they're fumbling back. So. Yeah. I mean, now with that being said, typically when an economy is up, people's got money, and it's not out of room. And I know we all disagree with the human rights things and so forth and so on. But how many times have we seen sports leagues bypass anything moral in the name of money?
Every single time.
It's like Dan Snyder.
Yeah, every single time. It's like my big deal is my big thing about it is the fact that, yes, as a business, I'm agreeing with you. China would be the smart move. Like if I would make movies, if I get myself in as a, be able to get a movie studio of my own self, or a production company or anything like that, I have to make a decision. But of course it would be independent at first. There would be, you're going local. You're first going on YouTube. You're going on a small, all that kind of stuff. You're doing that. But, basically distribution. Thank you for myself. The small distribution. But then what if I would get bigger later, come up with a nice one where you have the chance for expansion? Then you have to make a decision. Do you want to go long? It's like, yeah, I could go to different countries, but then do you say for yourself, I can't go, I don't want to go to China because I can't stand them? And that's the thing. If I'm individually running things, maybe sure, but if I've got a lot more people to think of, it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't that easy. You have to keep money rolling in, especially with the expansion and with the inflation right now. You got to keep money rolling in because it goes out every day.
Absolutely. And you know what? And to your point, and to the point that I said earlier, you remember when Saudi Arabia was under fire for that journalist that got killed?
Mm-hmm.
They still are.
And then, okay. Now check this out. It was Vince McMahon was pressured to cancel shows in Saudi Arabia because of that. He still went. You know why? Because that pay-per-view stood to make $64 million.
Yeah. See, I'm glad he didn't cancel it. I'm not doing this because I tell that I am for.
But here's the thing. This, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. If we're gonna talk and stand up for humanitarian rights, then we need to add Saudi Arabia in that.
Yeah.
Because Dubai does not treat people well. Beautiful, cool, but I don't like heights, so I got no desire to go there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
plus,
four floors up is high enough.
You're not gonna want to put something around your head to try to make them happy.
Exactly.
but no, my thing when I say this stuff is all for me. I don't believe in agreeing with China, but you do what it does. I don't agree with Saudi Arabia and what any human rights and things. My issue is we don't hear from the media at all on any of this until they find a reason they want to gripe. Until they find a reason, whether they hate somebody that might be involved. Saudi Arabia was blasted twice. And I'm just saying this.
They were.
9/11. I'm just saying this. 9/11 and when Trump showed up.
Yep.
And it was the reasoning they wanted to go was after him. Other than that, forgotten about everything. And it is hypocrisy. It is stupid. And here's the thing. And I will tell you this. Let Trump, and I'm just saying this in an absolute truth. Let Trump say, "Oh, I've got to deal with China. China is the greatest. China is the greatest ever." And boy, the media will go all over him. They'll get all over that. We will find every human rights abuse ever from China. But we haven't heard anything right now. They have to have a reason. Guess what? Why should you have a reason for all of this? But the media, it's all money.
Yeah.
And it's the money to hate right now. It's the money to hate certain places. And then they change their mind. It's like pro wrestling in the 80s.
Right. I totally agree, with because, things tend to have an agenda, especially when it comes to selective media.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cover what they choose at the end of the day. Not only that, but a lot of these folks, they have boosters. They have people funneling them money for them not to report stuff and to report stuff. That's why the phrase says money talks, BS walks 1,000 miles.
I haven't heard that, but I like it.
It's it sucks to say, but I mean it's true. We've just going back to my Vince McMahon example. That's the power of a dollar.
Well, they lied about
money is
Vince
right
McMahon
on the table. It doesn't matter who got kidnapped. It doesn't matter who got assaulted. It doesn't matter who got robbed or anything. They might pay him some hush money, but then that's it.
Well, guess what? I'm glad Vince went. I'm glad Live Golf exists. I'm going to say that not because I'm agreeing with Saudi Arabia on anything. It's because I'm okay to start getting more consistent.
Right.
Hey, get consistent. Start talking about something. Get real here. That is my thing of this whole deal. And I'm talking about get real with China, get real with everybody. Hell, get real with us if we need to, because we are basically number one in human trafficking problems. Get real with everything, not just what the people are paying you on. Be a real journalist.
Well, and some of that comes from some of the border issues we've had, and I don't agree with the wall because I just don't. But there's reality to that situation. Mm-hmm. However, it's not. We're obviously not the only country that does this. However, it's also a bunch of immigrants, and dare I say, it's sad because I want to help these people out a lot. I think during the Super Bowl during Atlanta, they broke up. Jacob, this is your neck of the woods. Mm-hmm. They were able to break up 70-something sex trafficking rings in one night.
Yep.
In Atlanta during Super Bowl week.
They sure did.
Wow.
They sure did. No.
And a lot of that was from people who were coming from outside of the country and kidnapping girls, getting girls off the street, whatever, from here, there, and yonder. And it sucks. So something's got to be done.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I want 2,000 miles. The border's over 2,000 miles. How are we all? Sorry, we had a couple breakup on the side. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna pass to you and see what you had to say.
The border is what, 1,800 miles?
About 1,900, yeah.
Yeah. No, let me explain something here. can we start getting smart as a people? Can we start? Because people would keep talking about, oh my God, the border wall happened. But they said you get about a mile or two a day. Let's say Trump went all 8 years, still doesn't finish the border. Not at a mile or two a day, not at the add up, not at everything, not when you have to get breaks, not when you have people. It doesn't.
For that amount of money and that amount of time, we could have hired a lot more border patrol who could have actually helped people.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you're
completely correct.
Because here's the thing: Jay lives in a border state. I'm in a border state. I actually had no problems with immigrants. A lot of the immigrants would come into Santa Fe and help out, and during the summertime, and send money back to their families. Santa Fe is a sanctuary city. And I'm completely cool with that, just because, but if you do wrong while you're here, by all means, go to jail, get extradited. Because
that's just you did wrong and got caught. Anyone can understand
exactly. That. Yeah, exactly.
Well, this was the thing I was bringing up, though. If you're all I'm trying to say is get smart people, because here's the thing. If you're for it, then use your head, know that it needs more work, and have to be able to do something. If you're against it, quit panicking, because it still won't get. Because guess what? He was gone in 4 years, and there's still about. It's still about what, a third?
Let's be real. Time? This whole tech started in 2003 by a junior state senator from the great state of New York, and one from your state, Jacob, Illinois. Those two really wanted it, and it's either 2006. I thought it was a bad idea all along. I know that, because I'm like, why? This is stupid. Like, just add more people to, help out people, because helping people out, when you're willing to climb a wall and break all means necessary to get away from where you're coming from.
Yeah.
People forget. At the end of the day, we live in the best country in the world. We're going through some serious ass growing pains right now. Let's not front. Let's not kid ourselves. However, we're still the best country in the world.
Yeah, and that's what I'm just bringing all of this up, is like, I want people to start thinking, and it's like, and guess what? If we're gonna get rid of the idea of so many illegals, and I'm going to say it, the illegals rushing in. Why don't we make legalization a lot easier? Why don't we make it?
It's a lot of paperwork. It is. My best friend used to work for INS.
Yeah,
and she was bored, and she worked. She lives in one of the very northern states. I'm not going to out her or anything, but so she lived near the Canadian border, so she obviously dealt more with Canadian INS and citizenship, things like that.
I've dealt with. I've dressed people before. I was a suit salesman. I've dealt with immigration lawyers. Average is about 15 years. It's expensive. It's red tape like crazy. And it's like, so yeah, the average is 15 years to get them in. And it's like, I just worked with somebody right now who just got her citizenship. And I got to say, congratulations to her. She went all the way through. And, and I love her to death. I love her to death. And it's like, Nelsie's awesome. It's like, the thing is, she went through the right, but how many people can truly afford that? And it's like, and I'm not saying I want every immigrant in the world. I want them to earn it, but let's make this easier, because here's the thing: if it is easier to get legalized, and you're still trying to rush across, and you're still trying to cause problems, you don't belong here anyway. You do not belong here. You deserve to be arrested and sent back. If we made it easier for you to come through, and made 6-7 years, like the average, about the 19, 10, 15, 20, they were about 7 years average. If we found a way to do that, right then and there, then, and you still want to rush across and you still want to be illegal, you don't belong here. You don't.
One of my issues with that, and I can say this as a veteran, is how it's messed up that they come here, they're illegal. Okay, fine. They join the United States military. They can do that. They can serve an entire enlistment. Once they get out, they don't have citizenship. They get sent back. it should be automatic citizenship. Like they fought for your country, dude. They should be able to stay here.
Well, guess what? I said here's the deal. I apologize, Jen. I'll say this real quick. Yeah. Look, I'll include this. Say I became president tomorrow, okay? I'll include that. You get the military, you've got it. I'm just trying to come up with an idea because I don't like the illegal part of it. I don't like it. I love legal. I do. When you want to work this hard to come through and you want to get out of it, you want to get a better life, I'm all for that. But I'm saying ones that just rush through and they might commit crimes, they might do whatever. But if you don't belong if we've made it easier on you. I want to. It's like we don't right now. It's hard to blame because it's very hard still.
Right.
That's just what I'm bringing up.
And it's hard because it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. My heart just breaks for the people still in detention centers, things like that. I love that you look like you're rolling your eyes at my comment right there, Jay. I know your your phone just froze, but yeah.
Well, we have fun with Jay here smiling and rolling his eyes. Let's go to the next one. Fractionalization of ownership. I want to explain this one a little bit. Okay. Years ago, 1989, we all know the story of Jerry Jones buying the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
The whole story, but he buys it from Bum Bright. And he had about 5 or 6 getters, and he got it with the lowest bid. Jerry Jones had the lowest bid. And he got it because he was the only one that said, I will get rid of Tom Landry. Everybody else was scared half to death of this guy.
Why?
He was a deity in Dallas. Absolute deity in Dallas. They were scared to death. Even though he was getting older, even though he was a 3-13 team, even though all that, he was still a deity in Dallas. And then he had such a presence, and they were afraid. He finally said, Jerry Jones said, I will get rid of him. Goes on a golf course and says, you're gone. Shakes hands, and that's it. And he had... And Skip Bayless said the same thing about him. They saw Tom Landry packing up his stuff, and it's like, he's human. I can't see that. That sort of deal. So all of a sudden, that became the story of Jerry Jones, but that is the one owner. But the thing about it now is everything is fractionalized. We talked about this. The reason I bring up fractionalization because everybody owns a percentage of something. Everybody owns a percentage of something. Like Shaquille O'Neal just sold 4% of the Kings about a year ago. 4% of them, and he got about $200 million.
Mm-hmm.
He just sold his 4%, got about $200 million, got a nice chunk. The Williams sisters have a little piece of the Dolphins.
Man, everybody got a piece of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Jim probably got a piece of the Dolphins.
John Shear probably has some Dolphins.
Yeah.
At this point in time, if Shearer probably thinking, if he finds out he does have it and he's got kids and a wife, he's probably thinking of selling it right now and getting some money.
Yeah.
But no, the Williams sisters have the Dolphins. You have so many different, and it's like I looked at the Kings just recently, and it's like the majority of owners Viva Granadive. But he's got a lot of minority owners, a lot of them. And it made me think about this. It's like everything is so fractionalized. Will we ever, and I'm just asking this to you, do you think we're into the future now of nothing but fractionalization of ownership of everything? Do you think we're going to see that after Jerry Jones dies?
Oh shoot, man, absolutely. You look at some of the owners right now that are of the older generation, the Jerry Joneses, the Robert Krafts. Look how old they are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now look at the ages of the ones that are minority owners. It's absolutely a new era.
Hey guys, just so you know, there's like a major lightning thunderstorm overhead. So if I lose internet, I'm sorry. Jay, you should have producer credits if something happens.
Okay.
Yeah. He could. Well, it's like either way though. It's like we've had rain over here, so it doesn't surprise me. But no, we will see something like that. We will see it, no question. And it's like, here's the thing: we know about the Green Bay Packers. They have you know about that whole story, don't you, Jay? Their ownership.
They don't have an owner.
No,
the city owns them.
They have the fans are the owners.
The fans are the owners, yeah. They don't have a sole owner.
And the way it works is every couple of years they will get more They will have their own little meeting where they will get more quote unquote owners, and you can buy in.
Yes.
That buy-in does not have voter rights, but that buy-in will pay for stadiums. It'll pay for stadium repairs. It will pay for the food. It'll pay for new stuff. It'll pay for all kinds of things. They do this every couple of years. And I'm like, how long before any of the teams, like I said, we'll just say the Texans for you, how long before they do like a Texans or the Bears, or remember the Bears, they might go to Arlington Heights and get themselves a dome. How long before my Bears or your Texans or your Panthers, for instance, the Jen, how long before we get to a situation where they do something along those lines and there is voting rights with the ones that own the most?
So here's the NFL announced shortly after this happened with Green Bay. Green Bay is the only team that it's allowed to happen with. No other team is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Goodell's in there, as long as Jerry Jones is running Goodell.
Yeah. And I mean, and you know what?
So 82 years old.
And let me bounce this theory off you real quick. Is this new age of fractionalization because of Jerry Jones? Because everyone sees the authoritarian dictator ways of Jerry Jones, and they're like, this is not how we want the future to be.
Well, and look
Who's
at
got
even the
voting
Cubs.
rights in the Cowboys? Nobody.
Look at the Cubs. Look at the Panthers. Look at the Patriots. Like all individual owners. We've got Denver coming up that'll have an individual owner, but they're siblings with other NFL owners too. Mm-hmm. So we've got Walmart coming in, taking over the entire NFL. And
Now I will say this much as far as the Patriots, because it is Robert Kraft, but at least that man got 6 rings in 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
And he's nothing like Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the only one that demands to speak after games. The only time you see Robert Kraft on a microphone, he's holding a Lombardi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And remember,
that was the only time you saw Jerry Richardson hold one too. Not after after the NFC South Championship, after the divisional championships, he would be like, "Great guy, game guy." He would never take credit for anything. That was his comment. But then you have your owners who love talking, and the individual. I'm okay with the fractionalization because then you don't have that dictatorship, authoritarian attitude.
Well, and the thing is, you brought up WWE earlier, Jay. You brought that up. Here's the thing. Right now with Vince thinks WWE is the only thing. He still will not watch to this day. He has been over 40 years doing this. And he still, to this day, will not watch anything else but his own. So it is his people that have to find out this talent to this day. So the thing is, how long, while Vince is around, and we can talk about Vince not having the CEO thing, he's still a bit of a charge because we still see the same stuff over and over. But here's the deal. When he passes away, and he's not going anywhere until he passes away. When he passes away.
He needs to go to jail.
Well, yeah, we can say that. I'm just saying this part, though. Yeah, that's
absolutely if that were any of us, we'd be in jail.
That's no question. But let me ask this. How long will it take? Months, a couple of years, whatever, before you see WWE versus AEW in a pay-per-view?
It'll be when Vince goes away. I know that much.
Oh, yeah, because Triple H by himself went to ICW, this itty-bitty little independent thing in England. He went there just to make a thing. He completely shocked everybody.
Wow.
Well, and there's so many small independent wrestling companies, even up north and New England area. There's tons of them even here. And WWE was actually started in North Carolina. So without WWE and NASCAR, Carolina would not have the Hurricanes. We would not have the Panthers. Mm-hmm. We would not have the Hornets. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so as much as I despise Vince McMahon, and I've never liked him actually. He, to him for making us a sports state.
Oh, there's no question. Somewhat. It's like, no, the biggest thing is we see something like this, and it's like I said, Triple H surprised everyone. It's like literally they heard his music go, like in the ICW. It's on the YouTube. They literally heard his music, and the crowd's like, oh. like because Triple H ain't coming here. Triple H pops up and the place just goes bat, and there's like 60 people there. Yeah. I mean,
that's awesome.
It sounded like 10,000 people in there, and it's like it was like he just showed up and no one believed him when they heard his music, and then he did that. And it's like, how long before we see WWE versus AEW? The minute Vince is gone. I need the minutes because really, we talk about fractionalization of everything with all that stuff. I mean, look at everything now. There is, like, for instance, with real estate. Sorry about that. It's like real estate. There is something called Fundrise, and there's a few others. Like with apps, you can literally start at $10 and just start in with a REIT. You know, so like that, and just keep building up, and it'll get you cents on a dollar on dividends, and just keep on building. There's one called Rally, where you can get things that you can do collections from Jordan's first shoes to wine to cognac to NFTs to anything. And you can buy $5, $10 worth of that and just keep building the shares. It goes up or goes down depending on which. Everybody, there isn't singular owners too much anymore on things. And none of the younger ones are going to be singular owners anymore. The younger people, the older people will stay that way, but they're going to die. That's just what the thing is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you think about it because, Stephanie McMahon's in her what, early to mid 40s?
She is nearing. She's about 44.
Yeah, she's about mid 40s. Okay. It's funny because I thought you were gonna go towards when are we ever gonna see fractionalization of WWE? I was like, never.
Nah,
never.
Because it's still gonna be the biggest, but I'm talking about they're gonna work with others. That's my point. It's like
I don't know that I ever see that happening unless AEW is buying WWE. Now, I did ask my husband. He is a huge wrestling aficionado. Mm-hmm. And he and I'm not kidding, he really is y'all would have a great conversation with him. But except for the fact that WWE is a public company, that's why they won't ever buy them. Forget that sad point.
Well, the thing is, I want them privatized. I want them privatized because we'll get a real good show.
Well, that's not going to happen. But because Vince could make more money making it public.
Yeah. Those are the things. And it's like I said, I was bringing up Rally. I was bringing up Fundrise. There's so much. I can say this. I think the future of ownership is the vast majority. Of course, you're going to get people there's still going to be people that own things. Don't get that wrong. They're still going to have the full owners in certain things. But the future of ownership to me is 51% for the one person. And then everybody else gets 49. Considering I see Rally, considering I see the stuff, I see the way the stocks and people are getting on the stock market and everything like that. The way things are completely different. I think ownership is going to be a 51% deal more than 100 in the future for a lot of our things.
Yeah, that is, you know, something I can see the same thing too, because, you know, on one end of the spectrum, it's like, okay, well here, you know, this is just about half, but at 51%, you're still majority owner. You know?
Yep.
I mean, it's smart, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, you're still majority owner. You can see. There's never going to be. We're not going to see having a bunch of people 3%, 4%, 5%. A bunch of people going up to 100. That's basically socialism, which won't happen in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and that won't happen. But you can see a 51 and the guy raising money for 49 because that's basically what's happening in Sacramento right now.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? These ideas and these concepts that we're talking about here, it just makes you really wonder: are we witnessing the beginning of the death of the CEO?
That's an interesting question.
And sports,
or anything,
anything, because this could spread to record labels.
Yeah,
this could spread to production companies.
Listen, as long as Suge Knight is still in jail and still alive, nothing's happening to the record labels because that man's still controlling stuff.
Well,
actually, he's not. Snoop Dogg is the official owner of Death Row Records.
And I'm wondering, and I'm
official.
Going to ask you this.
Official, yes. Key official.
Well, here's the thing I want to ask you, Jay. And I thought of that. I put that about 5-6 months ago on my Twitter. Because Snoop Dogg is such in a peaceful mode. Remember, he is all weed and all peace. Every bit of him is. Listen to his interviews. He barely cusses in comparison to what he used to be. No anger, no anything. How do you think he would ever change the name from Death Row? Because it has such a violent meaning.
No, he won't. Because It's tradition. Death Row has always been in his blood. You know,
right.
Death Row gave him his start. He has historical connotations with Death Row.
Yes.
He's gonna have that, bad history with Suge Knight, but I mean, Death Row filed for bankruptcy, and then the name was sold off, and then Suge Knight went downhill, and now he's in prison, and Snoop Dogg bought the label back, and so I don't think that he will change the name. I don't even think the iconic electric chair logo is ever going to go away. You know, it's just too much history behind it. But, as much as we may talk bad about Suge Knight, in the 1990s, Death Row was a superpower. It was almost as if it was Death Row, Bad Boy, and then everyone else.
It was.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and there's just too much historical connotation with the name. I don't foresee him changing it.
It just feels like, but I'm just saying though, the only reason I asked that by itself is listen to every interview, look at every meme, everything like that. Snoop is not even when he showed up on WWE or showed up and everything like that, he even looked happy to throw people out of the ring. He only weighs about 140 pounds.
Absolutely.
He has such a chill mode of everything now as the older he gets. That's the only reason I asked that. Because
I actually thought that you were going to ask that because society is going more towards the politically correct.
No, because the more that it's going to, I was bringing up the thing this morning about Chris Pratt's new show, and I brought up that people are fighting back on that. So that's just what I'm saying. There's going to be people fighting back anyway. It's like I wouldn't do that on political correctness because he would keep it if it had to do with that. It's like people are just fighting back. It doesn't matter which. I'm bringing it up just because of basically the guy has learned how to take a deep breath in this world. He helps all those kids in football teams in Compton. I believe Compton, correct? Yeah. He helps all of those. He gives millions of dollars to charities. It's like everything. The only thing that he does anything at all that brings the people that would be quote unquote objectionable to the Christian or whatever set or the moral quote unquote moral set would be weed. Everything else he's been on his best behavior. So that's why it made me wonder is how long would he go to something like that? But you brought up a point on that. I was just wondering that.
Tupac, enough said, ain't leaving. Just saying. I'm going to do a mic drop on that one because I don't get many of those.
Well, let's mic drop ourselves into the next one, until the big three.
Okay.
This is tough for me to watch. When I read that this morning, especially the idea of Colin Kaepernick, much as I don't like him anyway, but I thought I would have loved it if he would have given them money to help him stay in business.
He's disingenuous. I'm sorry. He is such a disingenuous person. Like,
he is.
First of all, I'm separating the football and politics, but football-wise, his numbers were going down. Jay, you asked me one time if I would ever take him. No, because his numbers were going down and he had a bad attitude. Yeah. Also, the day after on the political side, the day after he started the kneeling protest, which is fine. That's his right, correct? Like, right. I can't have a beef with that. It's my right to,
protest is a constitutional right.
Let's exactly. It's 100%. So can't get upset with him for that. I can't get upset when within the week, I think it was the next day, you're wearing a Support Fidel Castro t-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're going to work for social justice, I'm all for it. I'm all for doing the right thing. I make people on both sides of the aisle mad because I'm undecided because both sides suck. And that being said, they when I saw that, I was just like, it's just disingenuous. And time again, I've seen that disingenuous attitude. And I don't know. Like, Jay, you're a big Colin Kaepernick fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And does he do a lot of philanthropic work?
He does. He
does. He? Okay.
He's given the millions. He's given millions to like the schools in the inner cities.
I'm not trying to be mean or funny. Like, I honestly couldn't remember because I haven't heard a lot about his philanthropic work in years.
Well, then that's what another thing. No, he goes. It sucks. The news sucks.
You got to look at it like this, and this is not just Colin Kaepernick, but any other black celeb. Period. You know, they do a lot of work in the inner cities because the government doesn't give a shit about them. Sorry for the cussing.
No, you're fine.
Go after, but let Eric talk to you about that. But you're right. But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. The thing I'm bringing up with that is, but we're got big three in a second. The biggest thing about it is the fact that the reason I'm not a Colin Kaepernick fan at all, but I can say this: I read. He's given millions of dollars. He's given hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to schools. He's given it to the kids, backpacks for them, books. He's given all that kind of stuff to them in those inner cities. So he deserves credit for that. But,
and that's awesome. And because, I mean, honestly, some of my favorite donations and places for me to volunteer, because I do a lot of volunteer work. I'm not wealthy enough to be completely philanthropic, but I do what I can do.
But bring something to you, Jay. I'm going to bring this. When Nipsey Hussle passed away, and remember, I'm just talking these little deals because I am not a hip hop guy. No, I am not going to pretend to be. Okay, but these are things. When he died, when he got shot, from the mainstream media, I had to hear this by reading up of a bunch of things, the things that he did for his community. Mm-hmm. Never heard.
Oh, he was amazing with his community.
Yes, he was. Never heard a thing on mainstream media. This is why I get mad at him. I don't hear about Colin Kaepernick's thing about giving millions of dollars for the kids at the schools. I don't hear the things.
You don't hear those things. You don't hear those things because certain media outlets want America to hate him.
Well, they also want people to hate, period. They want hate.
But see, and so I'm weird because I freaking love Eric Reed, right? So I absolutely love Eric Reed.
And he was a Panther.
He was a Panther and my neighbor. And I pitched an idea to him once in the lobby. And I said, he goes, no, we can't do that. And I go, okay. The very next week, the Buffalo Bills did that play. I saw him after our game and he goes, all right, you were right. I was wrong. Wow. I freaking love Eric Reed. But I mean, so honestly, like that made me reevaluate personally why I didn't like Colin Kaepernick. Because I don't have time you guys know this, I don't have time to talk in our chats. So I don't have time to read news. So, but like when Nipsey passed away, I heard a lot about that because he was just who, like, it's like Tupac did a lot of great things. Tupac did a lot of bad things. Biggie did a lot of great things. Biggie was an adulterer. So, it is what it is. Sorry.
Well, all we know about Tupac.
I'll mute myself now.
All we know is Tupac is if Tupac was still alive, Will Smith would have a different wife.
True. Very true.
Maybe. Well, I thought they were just friends.
Bullshit.
I hate Jada. She's so disingenuous.
She is. But here's the
thing. That's my word for the night. Okay.
Here's the thing about Big Three. I hate hearing that they could shut down. Hate it with a passion, and I'll tell you why. Because, for instance, ISO Joe is in there, in a league right now in the Big Three, enjoying himself. I have called James Harden the human 3-on-3 guy, just because the way he plays his game. But do you know something? James Harden would be a monster star in that league after his career would be over. He would go in there. I mean, his game is. I can't stand him as far as what he does in the playoffs and his lack of clutch and his lack of care. But like I said, if Sam Cassell could get him into a final, give him a lifetime thing. He got someone to listen. He got the guy to listen. But I'm like, this is the thing. He would be a monster star in 3-on-3. James Harden would be huge.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, a huge. He would bring record crowds because the way his game is totally 3-on-3. And it was good. And it's like after this season's over, here's the thing though, Joe is there. A 3-on-3 would have been awesome for a Moses Malone who was in the league 10 years too long. His knees were gone. Yeah. And all these players that stayed way too long, 3-on-3 would have been awesome for them that they could still make some money. Yeah, and they could have made some money and still done that and still have other things to do. They could own a bar or something. They could have done all that. But
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
No problem. What's going to happen, Jane? This is what worries me. If Big Three goes down, we're going to be back to unless they go get other leagues or other ideas. And Ice Cube's got money. Unless they do this, we're going to get back to the people staying too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and one time I entertain the idea. So you got the USFL who's back. They obviously just had their first championship game.
Yep.
XFL is talking about making a third run. And I was like, you know what? I wonder what would happen if Colin Kaepernick signed to the USFL. He instantly would be the face of the league.
I'm thinking XFL. Remember,
if he signed to the XFL, he instantly would be the face of the league. Maybe the problem is that there are not enough big names.
Yeah. And then, those are the things. But bringing up the XFL, it's still 2023. I've still remember they got some named coaches in the I'm talking about in the XFL now. They built a thing. With the Rock's name, it's going to, if as long as they continue to do what they're doing, it's good football, it's going to survive.
It'll survive, but you brought up one thing. You said you still got good coaches, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, common fans don't look for coaches. They look for players. Coaches aren't faces of the league. Players are.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, no. But I'm just saying this is what the thing would start right now. I could see Vince McMahon's not going to bring in a big name. But here's where we're having an issue. The reason I was bringing up the XFL is because we are dealing with a certain set of the league. We started with Kaepernick and you go on that believe that the NFL is not doing good for the black athlete. You know, not having enough coaches, not having everything. Why couldn't The Rock do that part of the job and bring the bigger stars in that believe that they are feeling that way?
He probably would do a pretty good job recruiting. He is The Rock.
Well, here's the thing. Guess what? This is why I keep bringing up to people, and I'm going to say this, and I'll get this to you in a second, Jen. I apologize on this. Here's the thing. Rock is when they're doing that whole lawsuit between Together with the X, and with that Together with the X and the XFL, which is not going to win. It's not going to win in the first place. It has gotten to the point where Megan Rapinoe was 1 week in front of the thing. Now it's Sue Bird, because Sue Bird's a nice one. Sue Bird's a sweetheart. Megan Rapinoe's horrible. She's wretched. But here's the thing that people do not understand. They're going to wish they had The Rock to fight because he is a nice guy. Danny is not nice. Danny will rip him up. She will rip them up. She'll take him to court for no reason. That's the point. Danny does. His old wife is about 10 years older, I think. Danny, his old wife, she does powerlifting competitions. She's a beast. Yeah. She will eat. They're not fighting The Rock. That's just media. They're fighting her.
True.
And it's like, Rock is a nice guy. They're gonna wish to fight him. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, but the thing about it is The Rock can afford to be a nice guy because number one, who's gonna really try him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And number two, he's worth like literally $380 million.
I'll try The Rock.
No. I hope your husband didn't hear that. No. See, the biggest issue about that is that's your nighttime in bed. But still,
yeah, but
okay, y'all took that the wrong way.
But I mean, the Rock is being literally the biggest movie star in the world. If someone's on his bad side, that actually would work negative for them. They're probably looking at being blackballed. That's why no one's going to try The Rock.
Well, that's very, very true. But I'm talking about in a situation like, because she is the CEO of that company of like $7 Productions and with all the XFL and everything. She is that. It's like on a camera, big. This is the reason he could run for president right now, because he's this big muscle guy that smiles a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, but guess what? He can afford to smile because he's got the bad girl in the background willing to do all the business work. It's like, yeah, you're not winning.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is the reason why I said he would make the best recruiter, because if you're looking for players for the XFL, who would you want knocking on your door to recruit you? Danny or The Rock?
Or Vince McMahon or The Rock?
Yeah.
And see, the thing was, giving credit, Vince McMahon's second version of XFL was better than the first, obviously. It was better. But it wasn't going to go any farther than that. It was just going to stay the same because Vince can't get big names.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much the point where they have to.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I actually like the XFL. I like a lot of how they do the play calling, how they review pretty much every single play. And it's a quick review, but I feel like it was more fair and honest with how they were doing the reviews. because when you have too many human errors, our man, Jordan Long, Mr. I Hate Officials, and my husband is right there with him. So
those two need to be together. Those two need to go together, and we'll have a YouTube channel with those two.
Mm-hmm. But I loved a lot of how they did that. I am happy that it's being brought back. It's fun to watch to me, and it gives me football right now. And I don't have a dog in this fight because I don't have a team.
You might eventually if it grows, but
the championship game was fun to watch. Jay, I saw all of your tweets. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it absolutely delivered. I really think that next year the viewership and the revenue is going to go up.
We need leagues. Like I was saying with Jay, we need these leagues. We need them. We need big three. We need this for the athletes.
Absolutely, and when I did a segment on it on the Gauntlet, people they tend to give and their opinion, that's fine, but people tend to give the common answer as to why they don't watch XFL or USFL. It's not the NFL. That's actually the Captain Obvious answer. You know what I mean?
Well, they complain about the NFL all the
time. Yeah, the reason why I like it is because it gives players a place to go if they go undrafted. Yeah. See, it used to be if you went undrafted and no one picked you up, that was it.
Yeah.
But now you got some place where you got to go. Now, The Rock for the XFL. You want a big muscular guy and he smiles a lot and he's the biggest movie star in the world, showing up and recruiting. Everybody's got their own recruiting tactics. I mean, look at Nick Saban. Nick Saban knocks on a kid's door. He probably doesn't have to say but like 5 words. He's just standing on his front porch. And you know what he's got? He's got hardware on his fingers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All SEC and national championship rings. Literally, he could knock on Jacob's door if Jacob was like 18. Do this and say, come to Alabama. And then walk off.
Come to the Pac-12 now.
Yeah. And I mean, now you look at The Rock, okay? He's worth about, like I said, $380 million, biggest movie star in the world.
Yep.
He's got a football connotation because he won a national title at Miami. Yep. Still very deep into football. Hey, I'm running the XFL now. And it's like, okay, well, I know the first one kind of failed and then the second one kind of got cut short by COVID, but maybe with The Rock, it's going to be different this time. You know
what makes The Rock? You know what makes The Rock work so well in life and all this? He has a mix of getting into the mainstream with the niche because he's known with the niche people with WWE and wrestling.
Of course.
And he's also known in the mainstream. The only other person that truly had that monster thing, and guess what? It wasn't Stone Cold, because Stone Cold, he did a couple of indie movies. He not really that well thing. He's huge with wrestling. Cena is huge now just because of his Marvel show. But the thing is, the only other one
Cena's on my yucky list.
The only other one other than that was Hulk Hogan, which is still a name today. It's like it is hard to get to that mix with niche and with mainstream. Very hard to get that. Which Vince wanted, but he wanted to do it on his own. He can't get it on his own. So it's like The Rock gets you there. That's why The Rock can get there with the XFL.
Yes, and it's crazy how you bring up Vince McMahon because you would think it should kind of solely be Vince McMahon, but he's a promoter. Okay, I mean I'm pretty sure personally he's probably got personality or whatever, but people don't see that. People don't like see that. You know what I mean? Like it was only until the 1990s when you started seeing the top dog more often. Vince McMahon started showing up in storylines. Eric Bischoff joined the NWO. It was only until the 1990s when you first started seeing him regularly. Before that, how often did you see Vince McMahon? How often do you see Ted Turner? How often do you see Vincent J. McMahon? How often did you see any promoter unless they're on an active roster like Vern Gagne and AWA?
Yep. And those were those. And I will bring this, and we have one final because we're at 58 minutes, so we need to bring one final thing. Speaking of wrestling, perfect seg. And I'm going to bring this up. Thank you, Mojo Rawley. Thank you. Especially to someone like me who has a best friend who has been grinding it out for a decade in wrestling, in the indies. And by the way, I'm going to work when we have our wrestling show, wrestling themed show, Jay. We're going to get that guy on.
Yes.
Trevor Eon, you'll love him. And I mean, Jay and Jen and everything. Thank you, Mojo. For anybody that doesn't know, he has a talent agency for wrestlers now to get them out there, to get them into more areas, to be able to get their names. And do you know something? A long time coming, because it is the hardest to move up, because you have to travel to Japan, you have to travel to Europe, you have to do all things on your own dime unless they pay for your plane tickets. You're taking care of your injuries on your own. You're taking care of everything on your own. Mojo has got a start of something big here, and I thank him for this, because as a guy who has a buddy that's been grinding this out for this long, it's like, and I mean, the guy's going to this stuff. It's time to see a Vince McMahon bypass, and we start seeing them go everywhere, pick on your thing, and let the wrestlers get out. Hell, let's get a wrestlers union like Jesse Ventura tried.
Man, even like, okay, because we all know that pro wrestlers are always on the hook for like healthcare. Probably
now with AEW.
Probably the biggest probably the biggest outcry in the last 20 years was, let's get universal health care for wrestlers. Let's get health care for wrestlers and whatnot. You know, the average wrestler for Vince McMahon in WWE makes $400,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know, no slouch, right? But let's say
the travel will burn that.
Yeah, let's say you know, Jacob takes a bad bump off the ropes and tears his quad off the bone. How much do you think that surgery and that rehab would be in total?
Yeah. See, Triple H did that, but it's like you when you're a big name, they'll pay that for you. But it's like the others will not.
See, that's the key. Well, also, that's the thing. By that time period, Triple H was already pulling in $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, but what if Austin Theory were to tear his quad? What if any of the up-and-comers were to suffer a debilitating injury like that? I'm talking about something. Cody Rhodes tore his pec. He's going to be out for the next 9 months.
Cody Rhodes is very wealthy, but yes, Cody's very, very wealthy. I've seen his houses. Mm-hmm. I've driven by his houses. He's wealthy.
Yes,
so
he's probably still on Brandy's health insurance with AEW.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, but these are exceptions and not the rule. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what I don't want people to get caught up in is, oh, well, I mean, Triple H, you know, so surely everybody everyone's making Triple H's annual salary now is $16 million.
Yeah.
So he can afford it. And he just had heart surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he can afford it. You know what I mean? But
which I'm glad to have been wrong. Because I thought she was quitting to take care of him. I didn't know how bad a thing, but he's back to work. Nope.
It was not the reason. And if we're thinking what we're thinking, we're gonna save that for the rest of the show.
Oh no, absolutely. But I was thinking, I'm glad to have been wrong on that. I really am. I'm glad he's back to work full time and everything. But with the heart surgery, you don't know how it goes out. That's why I was just thinking on that. You know.
Right, you're right. You know, I'm glad both of us were wrong actually. But yeah, the real reason we're gonna have to save that for that episode. Because boy, man, I'm gonna go left field on that one.
We're gonna have some Trevor on there. We're gonna have everything. We're gonna have a hell of a show when that gets started. You know.
Nice, absolutely. Mojo Rawley though, but you know something? I love what Mojo Rawley did, but my hope is for more to follow in his footsteps.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And start
get a star
taking
get
care.
A star to do it.
Yes, and start taking care of these guys. So
yeah, get a star. Let's get a star to do that. It's like Mojo wasn't a star. He wasn't a star in the thing. Let's get them to do it. You know, let's get Gronkowski. Gronkowski might go into WWE now that he's retired. It's like get him to do something like that later. Let's put some money.
I want to save what is left of that man's brain cells. Because there's not a lot left.
He doesn't have many anyway.
I mean, he didn't have a lot to begin with, but I don't, you know, I mean, he sure is kind of cute, but still.
That's you.
And he's really good at his job. But
no, that's on you. You have that. I don't give a rip about that.
All right. So guys, let's go ahead and start closing up the show. Jay, why don't you go ahead and tell us about the wrestling show you guys are working on?
So basically, wait, so is it gonna be an episode of this or this was some other?
We are what the plan is I want to be able to bring Omar Muhammad, the one that talked about NBA for Africa in his article, and you go look it up, by the way. Put up the NBA for Africa and read the whole thing. It's awesome. And I ask you to do that too also, Jen. It's awesome. It's an awesome article. If we can get him on, we'll do it the week. We will do it the week before that thing because we're gonna make it the whole way on that episode. Okay. You know what I mean?
Okay. So Jay, where can the people find you?
It's like so we can have.
See here. Oh, okay. So, Confidential Tuesdays. I'm producer. The two that are on the others on the screen right now, they're in it. Plus 3 more.
I love you say that.
Jordan Long, Steve Swanda, Jacob Christner, Jenn Lewis, hosted by JB Ellis. Also, Gauntlet Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's myself, Dom DeRubis, James Tatum, and JJ Jenkins. We are approaching the new season for 2022. Right now, we're doing preseason predictions by division. We already covered the last week we covered the NFC South.
And you didn't have me on.
You didn't ask to come on. You're supposed to have been on.
I know. I'm making Jacob mad now.
And you know what? This week we might have to. We might see because y'all just got Mayfield, so I'm sure we're gonna talk about it. She's not crazy about that right now.
You still have rules, so it doesn't matter.
But
you know what? As long as we lose the first 5 games, so we can send rule back to school, I'm cool.
Hey, you know what?
Don't make school. Don't punish school like that.
The good news is, Jen, y'all are gonna start 1-0. You know who you got the first week, right?
I know.
Who do they have the first week?
The Browns.
And of course, Basket Bros, produced by Jen. Also with myself, Jacob, Dom, and our guy Will Vogel. And that's what I'm on.
Well, and Jen, where do you see every week?
3 Chicks in a Pod, and Jacob, thank you for letting me put that as our banner tonight. Absolutely. I appreciate it. Tuesday nights at 7:30 Eastern. It's Carrie Johnson and Megan Price, Queen of Hoops, Chiefs chick, and myself, just 3 chicks talking sports. We spent the month of June discussing the Title IX, and then after that we have Confidential at 11 o'clock. And thank you, Jay, for letting me go first. Appreciate it. And then we have the Pundits Pundit, obviously, where we also have the NFL Carousel, which will be picking up again very soon next month, I believe, starting in middle of August. Then we also have the Sip Off that I'm on occasionally. And when I make Jay invite me on the Gauntlet, I go on the Gauntlet. And then Basket Bros I produce for these nice guys. And Jacob, where can everybody find you? And of course, the Pundits Pundit.
You find me here, the Pundits Pundit, on Thursday nights, Sundays on Basket Bros with everybody else. We have Monday nights on Megan. I will always promote Megan Price's NBA Carousel, and I will find out which team I can take. It could be anything but Sacramento at this point. And Tuesday night,
I get a home pick. You get Sacramento.
Oh, wonderful! And then, hey, Kevin Werder might make him a title holder. I don't know. No. And then Tuesday night's the Confidential, and then get other shows going because I'm getting busier. I'm telling you right now, and we all are. I am telling you, Sideline Sports is the newest, biggest thing. We're gonna have more shows. We're gonna get bigger people. I mean, I am telling you, 7 nights a week we have this. We're going to be adding more and more to it, and you just stay in touch. Just watch us because we're going to get bigger.
Exactly. Guys, after we end this show, which I'm about to do, stay on for a second.
All right. Bye, people.
Yep.
Bye. Thank